The 1980s could very well have been the best decade of films. So many timeless classics that left a mark in popular culture and have legacies that continue to this very day. But because there were so many great films from that time, a simple top 10 of my favourite 80s films just isn't enough. Even a top 20 would just be scratching the surface of what the 80s had to offer. So you know what we're going to do? A top 100! That's right, a top 10 films list for every single year. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Snooty Nerd's 80s 100 series. So let's get started with the year that the 20th century reached the big 8-0. It's Snooty Nerd's Top 10 Films of 1980. I'm not a big fan of horror films, but I can appreciate a cinematic milestone when I see one. And Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of Stephen King's The Shining is one such milestone. But first I need to address all the wailing and gnashing of teeth in the comment section, and the people who are already clicking on the dislike button because The Shining is quote-unquote only number 10. Now, do you know how many films came out in 1980? According to the Internet Movie Database, 3,842! And considering that I'm not a big fan of horror to begin with, you should be grateful that it's even on the list in the first place. Though, even I can appreciate seeing the voice of Hong Kong Phooey and Jazz from Transformers impersonating Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. What's up, Doc?
It stars Jack Nicholson as an unstable novelist who takes a job as winter caretaker at the Overlook Hotel, along with his wife and son, who is able to read minds and see ghosts with a power called The Shining. The film keeps the tension high with the music, the tracking shots, and of course, Jack Nicholson's performance. Very few actors can rival Nicholson when it comes to playing a lunatic, as evidenced when the isolation and writer's block begin to take its toll on Jack's mental health. Although I can relate. Whenever I write scripts for my videos, I tend to go a bit nutty myself. Because what people just don't understand is that writing's demanding, it's mentally challenging, and it's a bore, it's such a chore to sit in a room by yourself and my god, I just hate it! So you write down a word but it's not the right word, so you try a new word but you hate the new word, and you need a good word but you can't find the word. Where is it? What is it? When is it? How is it? Higgledy-piggledy! There are times when it's all about the simple things in life. For example, sometimes you just can't beat a few pints of lager and a good superhero movie. And Superman is of course what everyone immediately thinks of when they hear the term superhero. Superman 2 continues the story set up in the first film, further developing Clark's relationship with Lois, as he becomes insanely jealous of her crush on his alter ego. He finally reveals to her that he's Superman, and decides to sacrifice his powers in the name of love. The film also raises the stakes with its villains, the Zod Gang, a trio of Kryptonian war criminals who, upon being exposed to Earth's sun, gain the same powers as Superman. Definitely more of a threat than Lex Luthor in the first film. While it is slower in pace than most superhero movies of today, it really picks up towards the end, with a massive melee in which Superman takes on all three of the villains. Also, the Superman film franchise was a big inspiration for plot elements in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man series, like the theme of giving up his powers to be with the woman he loves in the second film, turning evil in the third film. I guess that makes Venom Sam Raimi's equivalent to Nuclear Man from Superman 4. Number 8 on the list is the Blues Brothers, who are sent on a mission from God to raise money to save the orphanage where they were raised. To accomplish this task, they go on a quest to reform their blues and soul group and perform a concert in Chicago. All the while, they're being chased by the police for the terrible crime of ranking up 116 parking tickets, and Carrie Fisher constantly trying to blow them up. It's all about the car chases. They're so insanely over the top, it was like the Fast and Furious of its time. Just with upbeat jazz music in the background instead of rap. It all builds up to the climax, in which over 100 police cars chase the Blues Brothers, resulting in mass destruction and countless police cars being destroyed. All this over a few parking tickets? Flying is statistically said to be the safest form of travel, except when the pilot comes down with the worst case of food poisoning ever. Then it falls on a shell-shocked Air Force officer to face his inner demons and get back into the pilot's seat. Oh, by the way, it's a comedy. You can probably tell since Leslie Nielsen is there with his signature deadpan delivery. Delivering such funny lines in such a serious way will surely make you laugh.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
The film has a very dry sense of humour, but it has all sorts of visual gags and insanity going on in the background. The main character is played by Robert Hayes, the voice of Tony Stark in the 90s Iron Man cartoon. Also in the cast is Robert Stack, the voice of Ultra Magnus in the original Transformers. Oh, I just realised. Robert Hayes, Robert Stack, Hayes, Stack, Haystack. Iron Man and Ultra Magnus bickering over the radio. Surely that alone makes this film a classic.
Stop calling me Shirley.
Next we have Raging Bull, a boxing movie so good that even today, waifus in Japanese video games are using it as their call sign.
Raging Bull, I'm raring to go.
The film stars Robert De Niro as troubled boxer Jake LaMotta in a semi-biographical tragedy. There's lots of violent boxing matches with excellent fight choreography, to say nothing of the stellar performances by Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci in his breakout performance as Joey. It's the story of Jake LaMotta's rise to the top and his eventual fall from grace as he succumbs to jealousy and paranoia, causing him to lash out at those closest to him. But even though Joe Pesci's character took a couple of beatings in this film, at least it prepared him for the much worse abuse he'd later take when he became the leader of the Wet Bandits. The best boxing movie is the subject of debate between Rocky and Raging Bull, but I think we can all agree that the best golfing movie is Catty Shack. It's definitely one of the funniest. It's the story of Danny, a caddy hoping to get a university sponsorship by sucking up to the arrogant and maniacal Judge Smales. But Danny complicates matters by cheating on his girlfriend with Smales' promiscuous niece. You probably shouldn't piss this man off, or they'll never find your body. He's a judge. He can make it happen. Smales is also being driven mad by Rodney Dangerfield in his antics, dressed in shirts that are louder than Brian Blessed. Meanwhile, Bill Murray plays an unstable groundskeeper tasked with getting rid of the true star of the show, the indestructible golfer. His efforts continue to fail and escalate until he's basically become a live-action version of Elmer Fudd. By the way, the film was directed by the late Harold Ramis. I have a feeling we'll be seeing him and Bill Murray again in a later top 10. The legend, the dragon, the master of martial arts, the incredible, invincible, indestructible Jackie Chan. The Young Master was Hong Kong's highest grossing film of 1980 and the one that made Jackie Chan a superstar. Jackie Chan writes, directs, and stars as Dragon, an orphan adopted into a kung fu school. When his brother Tiger goes astray and falls in with the wrong crowd, Dragon sets out to find his brother and bring him back to the right path, all the while getting mistaken for a bandit and being pursued by China's most dogged police chief. Jackie Chan is the original master of combining kung fu and comedy, as shown by his ability to turn anything into a weapon. Swords, sticks, pipes, fans, and skirts are just a few of the zany weapons he utilises. He's China's ultimate action star. He's a man without fear, without equal, and without a stunt double. The late Robin Williams was the King Midas of Hollywood. Everything he touched turned to gold. One such nugget of entertainment being the live-action musical Popeye, a masterclass in the art of the live-action cartoon. He plays the eponymous Popeye, who lands at the picturesque town of Sweet Haven, searching for his father. He becomes a lodger with the Oil family, who are constantly harassed by the most obnoxious taxman since the days of Robin Hood. Shelley Duvall was perfect as Olive Oil. It's amazing to think that she was also Wendy in The Shining. It's a slice-of-life comedy, as Popeye beats up a bunch of hecklers, becomes adoptive father to Sweet Pea, witnesses his son become a gambling addict, and confronts his immortal nemesis, Bluto. He's large. The filming locations are gorgeous. In fact, you can actually visit Sweet Haven as a tourist attraction in Malta. It has some of the funniest fight scenes of the decade, long before Eddie and Richie came along, and it also has a meaningful message. Always eat your spinach, it gives you super strength. If an evil alien empire sets its sights on our planet, who would you turn to protect the human race? The armed forces? NASA? Or an American football player? As it turns out, the quarterback is the one you'd want to be the saviour of the universe. In an age when Star Wars was taking the world by storm, everyone wanted a slice of the sci-fi pie. Flash Gordon is one such cult classic. Flash and his love interest Dale are strong-armed by the eccentric Dr. Zarkov into going on a space adventure, when they're captured by the evil Emperor Ming the Merciless. Flash escapes and goes on a mission to unite the warring factions against the overdressed space tyrant. We almost get a sword fight between Timothy Dalton and Brian Blessed, one of the few actors who can actually speak in block capitals. Love triangles ensue as Ming tries to take Dale as his bride, and his daughter becomes enamored with Flash. That would make for some pretty awkward family gatherings. And who could forget the stellar soundtrack by Queen? Rock music, space adventure, and soap opera family drama. A combination you wouldn't think would work, but somehow it does! Like a peanut butter and bacon sandwich. And now for a quick recap before we get to number 1. Number 10, The Shining. Number 9, Superman 2. Number 8, The Blues Brothers. Number 7, Airplane. Number 6, Raging Bull. Number 5, Catty Shack. Number 4, The Young Master. Number 3, Popeye. And number 2, Flash Gordon. And number 1, to no one's surprise, is The Empire Strikes Back, a film about the biggest family squabble in history. The rebel forces are on the run and split up. Han and Leia race across the galaxy with the Imperial fleet in hot pursuit, while Luke seeks out Yoda to begin his Jedi training in one of the strangest training montages you will ever see. I mean, Rocky's training was unorthodox, but at least he didn't have to make a spaceship float with his mind. All those memorable scenes, like the Battle of Hoth. It's not a song of fire and ice, so much as a song of harpoons and tow cables. It ends with the epic duel between Luke and Darth Vader, ending in a crushing loss for the rebel leader, and the biggest plot twist that you've probably known about before you even saw the film. It's like the death of Aerith in Final Fantasy VII. Oh, sorry for the spoiler if you haven't played up to that part yet. But to summarise, Star Wars has it all. Amazing set pieces, spaceship battles, swashbuckling lightsaber duels, mystery, serious development for the returning characters, a cliffhanger ending sending up for the epic final installment, and more family drama than a Kardashian family reunion. Well, that's my list of the top 10 films of 1980. Please subscribe and stay tuned for the upcoming video of the top 10 films of 1981.